What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel, where today we've got a jam-packed training camp update that you do not want to miss. The Cowboys are facing another wave of injuries just as the pads go on and real competition begins to heat up in Oxnard. This time, it's rookie left tackle Tyler Guyton who's landed in the spotlight for the wrong reason. The highly anticipated first-round pick, drafted to be a cornerstone on that offensive line, went down in practice with what initially looked like a knee injury that had the coaching staff, teammates, and fans holding their breath. There were rumors flying immediately, some saying it might be an ACL tear, others speculating about cartilage damage, but thankfully, after further evaluation, it turns out that Guyton avoided the dreaded ACL tear and instead is dealing with a bone bruise, which while still serious, is significantly better news. He's expected to be out for about 4 to 6 weeks, which makes his availability for Week 1 a big question mark, but not an impossibility. The Cowboys' medical staff will be monitoring him closely, but in the meantime, the team now faces a critical decision: who steps up to fill his spot on the offensive line during this crucial stretch of camp and potentially the early weeks of the season? And that's where the real drama begins, because let's not forget, Guyton wasn't just any rookie. He was being groomed for arguably the most important non-quarterback role on the offense, tasked with protecting Dak Prescott's blind side and anchoring an offensive line in transition after the departure of longtime veterans and the reshuffling of personnel. Now, with Guyton sidelined and fellow lineman Rob Jones also out long-term due to a neck injury, the Cowboys are digging into their depth chart earlier than expected. So far, the coaching staff has been rotating several players in and out of the left tackle position during practice, looking for that next man up. Asim Richards is one of the names getting buzz. He's a second-year player out of North Carolina who was seen taking first-team reps right after Guyton's injury. He's versatile, has experience playing both guard and tackle, and impressed during OTAs with his footwork and hand placement. Then there's Hakeem Adeniji, a veteran journeyman who was brought in for depth but now finds himself in serious contention for a starting role. He's got experience with multiple teams, including playoff starts, and his maturity and understanding of the game are assets the Cowboys may lean on, especially early in the season if Guyton can't go. Add in Matt Wielecko, another young player who has the physical tools but has battled his own injury history, and a Johnny Cornelius, the sixth-round rookie who has impressed with his raw strength and surprising athleticism, and suddenly you've got a position battle that's wide open. The Cowboys coaching staff has made it clear they're not planning to move Tyler Smith, the Pro Bowl-caliber left guard, out to tackle unless absolutely necessary. That tells us two things: 1, they have confidence in the depth they've assembled, and 2, they want to preserve some continuity on the interior line, especially with a revamped backfield and new faces in the receiver room. It's all about balance, and losing Guyton, even temporarily, throws that off. But as much as the focus is on the offensive line, the defense is dealing with its own share of uncertainty, and that's where Trevon Diggs comes in. Diggs, the ball-hawking cornerback and one of the most polarizing players on this team, is still working his way back from a major knee injury suffered last season. After tearing his ACL in practice, Diggs underwent surgery, followed by a second cleanup procedure later to address lingering cartilage damage. While he's officially on the physically unable to perform (PUP) list, and that's standard protocol for players coming off a major knee injury, what's not standard is the tension behind the scenes. There's been some friction between Diggs and the Cowboys front office after it came out that he had been rehabbing away from team facilities, which reportedly triggered a fine and some sharp comments from the Jones family. This situation has layers, folks. On one hand, you've got a player trying to do what's best for his body, maybe working with his own specialists, training at his own pace. On the other, you've got a team that just handed him a massive contract extension, expecting a certain level of commitment and visibility during the rehab process. And let's not forget, this isn't happening in a vacuum. There are leadership questions being raised. The Cowboys need Diggs to be a tone setter, not just with his play, but with his presence. In a secondary that's already down Kalen Carson, who's expected to miss at least a month with a hyperextended knee, and Josh Butler, also banged up, Dallas is running thin at corner. They did add some veteran depth with Christian Matthew, but let's be honest, that's more of a patch than a solution. There's growing chatter among fans and media alike that the team should go out and bring back someone like Stephon Gilmore, who already knows the system, still has gas in the tank, and could step in immediately as a stabilizing force on the outside. So now you've got an offensive line with holes, a secondary missing key players, and a coaching staff trying to maintain momentum and confidence in a camp that's suddenly more about survival than experimentation. And that brings us to one of the bright spots: rookie running back Jaydon Blue. If you haven't been paying attention to this kid, it's time to start. Drafted in the 5th round out of Texas, Blue has been turning heads with his quickness, balance, and ability to catch out of the backfield. What sets him apart is that he's not just another between the tackles runner. He's versatile, he's fluid, he's explosive in space, and with the Cowboys expected to use a running back by committee approach this season, Blue could carve out a real role for himself, especially if he continues to impress on special teams and in pass protection. While the top of the depth chart remains crowded with guys like Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams, Blue offers a different flavor, and in this league, versatility can be your ticket to staying on the roster. He's taken every opportunity in camp seriously, running hard in team drills, flashing in red zone situations, and showing excellent awareness during 2-minute work. Coaches have praised his attitude and focus, and teammates have noticed, too. If he keeps this up, don't be surprised if he forces the Cowboys to make some tough decisions come cutdown day. All in all, this has been a roller coaster of a training camp so far. Between the injuries, the depth concerns, and the positional battles, the Cowboys are being tested early, and in some ways, that might be a good thing. Adversity in camp can forge chemistry. It can reveal character. It can show you who's ready to play on Sundays and who still has work to do. But the key now is health. The Cowboys need to get through the next few weeks without any more major setbacks. They need guys like Guyton and Diggs trending in the right direction, and they need the backups stepping into these spotlight roles to show they belong. The offensive line, in particular, is going to be under the microscope. With preseason games around the corner, every rep, every snap, every play is a chance to earn a job or lose one. The margin for error is razor thin. The same goes for the defensive backfield. If Diggs isn't ready to go, and the young guys aren't stepping up fast enough, Jerry Jones and company may have to open the checkbook and bring in reinforcements. That's the nature of the business. It's not personal, it's football. And finally, don't underestimate the role of the coaching staff in all of this. This is where Mike McCarthy, Dan Quinn, and the position coaches earn their paychecks. It's about evaluation. It's about motivation. It's about building the right mix of talent, toughness, and trust heading into the regular season. Because make no mistake, expectations in Dallas are sky high. This is supposed to be a playoff team, a Super Bowl contender, and for that to happen, they need to get healthy, stay focused, and start fast once the games count. The first few weeks of the season are brutal, and they can't afford to stumble out of the gate. That's why every practice, every film session, every meeting in Oxnard matters right now. So stay locked in, Cowboys fans. This is where the real story of the 2025 season is being written, and we'll be here breaking it all down for you every step of the way. Make sure you're subscribed, drop a comment below on who you think should replace Guyton, whether you believe Diggs will be ready by week 1, and if Jaydon Blue has a real shot to break into the rotation. Hit that like button if you're riding with the boys through thick and thin. I'll see you next time. Let's go Cowboys!